me. So
There we go. Good morning. My name's Steve, and today I'll be the host of your Hangout. Joining us again for our 10th Google Hangout is Charlie Cipher, an air filtration expert with Camfil USA, the global leader in clean air solutions. And today we're going to talk about air quality and solutions for schools. How are you today, Charlie? Doing well?
good, Steve. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Had a nice weekend, so ready to get going here.
Let's get it flying along.
Yeah. So, Charlie, why are schools such a high level of concern with regard to air quality?
Well, it's one of the locations that we have a high volume of people within a confined space. And anytime you have a high volume of people within a confined space, there's much more of a chance of problems being transferred one to another. And also, people are the biggest particle pollution contributors, and we can shed 500,000 particles per minute, 0.3 microns and larger, and normally that's taken care of with ventilation, air, or air filtration. The other things that we have to worry about, and we all see the newspapers when the seasons come around, are flu and colds. Most schools' financial return comes from tax association that they have with their local states and everything, and they get some money back per student for each day that they attend. And unfortunately, when absenteeism goes up, it affects the school financially because they don't receive that state aid. Another problem that we have in relation to air quality is aging schools. There was a study done in the year 2000, and a couple of that have subsequently confirmed the numbers. There's 11 million kids out of the 50 million that are in our schools each day that are in schools that have environmental indoor air quality problems. And of course, the last one is the high cost of ventilation air, where if you have to bring in a lot of outside air to dilute the contaminants internally, that costs a lot of money. You can imagine Atlanta in the summer or Portland, Maine in the winter. We prefer to clean up the indoor air by using air filtration.
Huh, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure a lot of people don't give thought to the point you made about state aid and how attendance has an effect on the budget. That's just something that's not in people's minds, I think, and it's an important issue.
Well, in some cases, Steve, it can be anywhere from $7 to $15 a child per day. So if you have 200 or 300 kids that are out because of the flu, not to mention school teachers being out because they become ill and that now having to pay the substitute, so it's a big financial impact on these schools.
Absolutely. Are there different areas of schools that require different levels of attention and filtration, etc.?
Well, the common areas are the ones that everybody think about. The classrooms, the hallways, those types of areas and everything. But think of the classroom, especially schools that may be kind of on the disadvantaged line, that may have 30 to 35 students per room. And then you have a teacher in there. You can imagine the amount of contaminant being created. Often we've gone into schools to do air quality analyses. You want to see the way our equipment goes crazy when students are changing classes and the halls become filled with students. People don't think about it, but we're big pollution contributors. And then there's areas such as cafeterias that have high occupancy rates at particular times of day. Other locations that people don't think about are locker rooms. I don't know if you played any sports, Steve, but when I played sports, what that room smelled like after football practice was kind of unbelievable. And then even in primary schools, there's some concerns too because of restrooms and your sensory, senses that you have a general tendency to know what happens within those rooms. And then, of course, we've got more biological laboratories, physics laboratories, and, of course, the cleaning supplies that are used every day in a school environment.
Yeah. What about the cafeterias and the food services? Is that also an area of concern?
Oh, absolutely. What some people consider good, other people may consider obtrusive. Plus, you've got the turnover of the students within the room, and just the movement through there, creating all sorts of different contaminants.
Yeah. So, what can be done to ensure healthy indoor air for students and also for school employees?
Well, what Camfil has been doing for probably the last 25 years is we've been promoting MERV 13 air filtration for the school environment. It's basically the same level of filtration that's used for the typical office environment. We feel that our children should have at least the same air quality that we do and we have in our common work environment. The other thing that we recommend is that they use a filter that maintains efficiency, so not only a MERV 13, but also a MERV 13A as the numbering system provided by the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers.
Right. Okay, and what about the special areas in the schools? What do we do for those?
Well, the locker rooms and restrooms, we're seeing more applications of carbon applied to remove the odors. Carbon is very good about removing bioeffluents that are produced by people as they go through our daily processes and so on. Carbon's also very good for removing the contaminants associated with laboratories and areas that may have cleaning supplies involved. The other thing that we're seeing popping up is HEPA filters are being used in laboratories more and more to make sure that we dilute those contaminants before they get to the lungs of our children, because in many cases they're handling formaldehyde, glutaraldehyde, and the such, and that can be removed by a combination of gaseous contaminant control and HEPA filters, just as we do in laboratories and pharmaceuticals.
Right. Amazing. So where can our listeners get more information about Camfil products and about air filtration and the correct applications just in general?
Well, typically I would look for your local air filtration expert, and Camfil has a list of them on the websites. Just go to the notation on the right-hand side of the page that says contacts, look for your state, and then look up the local distributor or representative. They deal with these problems on a daily basis. You can also go to our websites and get technical material. We have an excellent bulletin called Tools for Schools that has been kind of the standard for the industry for the last 20 years on what type of filtration should be used in the school environment. And that's available at www.camfil.us or www.catalog.camfil.us.
Excellent. Thanks for all participating, and we look forward to seeing you at our next Hangout when we cover more essential air filtration topics. Thanks for the information, Charlie. I think it was really valuable.
Thank you very much, Steve. Have a good day.
You too. Be well.